A lot of people hate on candy corn, saying that it's the worst candy ever, especially for Halloween. Now, I wouldn't say it's the worst, there's definitely worse candy out there. And the horror movie Candy Corn, directed by Josh Hasty, is not too bad. Candy Corn has some pretty notable names in it, from Tony Todd, PJ Souls, and Courtney Gaines. Though Tony Todd and PJ have lesser roles in this movie, more side characters, which I'm okay with. The story is like this. A group of bullies are planning their annual hazing of the town's local outcast, Jacob Atkins. When the bullies go a little too far, Jacob is resurrected and seeks revenge on those who did him wrong. It's a pretty simple story. It's nothing that's gonna wow you, and the main characters in this movie are pretty crappy human beings since it's kind of focused more on the bullies themselves. And they kind of remind me how Rob Zombie would write his characters, kind of like deviant and gross, but a little bit pulled back. Except for Mike, who's the leader of this bully group, is a bit of a dick. This isn't a movie where you're cheering for the main characters. This is more like you're cheering against them because they're such bad people. And you hope deep down in yourself that they get what's coming to them. The acting is not bad. The locations are pretty cool, taking place around a trashy town called Grove Hill, while at the same time a freak show is in town for the Halloween season. Nothing says Halloween like a freak show. This movie also includes, that's a hell of a kick to the face. Is that the Necronomicon? Isn't that the dude with the hook for a hand that sells candy? Boobs. Sweet. Disemboweling. Got your tongue. Mom's hiding under the bed again. Being creepy. A human jack-o'-lantern. That's not how you adjust the spine. My arms. How can I high five now? There are quite a few kills in this movie, and we're gonna get into that, but which one is the best kill? Stay till the end where we're gonna rank the kills in this movie. Now, let's get into this. Dr. Death takes the stage, greeting the audience with a spine-chilling song on the organ. And welcomes them to his freak show. This guy oozes stage presence, and I love it. Jacob, the outcast of this movie, is exiting from his trailer. It's nighttime and there's no one around when he is ambushed by these bullies. Mike, who we find out is the leader of this gang and is a complete dick, gets right up into Jacob's face and you can really smell the aftershave. Now, I don't think Jacob likes that, because after years of abuse, apparently this has been going on for a really long time, he pushes Mike away, kind of throwing the first punch. The bullies jump him, grabbing his legs and pulling him to the ground, and they just start wailing on this kid, Jacob. Jacob, after is all disoriented, he's not too sure what's going on, and Mike is in a heated anger. Loses his temper, runs up to Jacob and kicks him right in the head. Blood flies from Jacob's mouth, killing Jacob, becoming our first kill. I admit, not the best kill. At first watch, I was thinking, is he still alive? Surely a kick to the head couldn't really kill somebody, maybe after a couple kicks and stomps. Now, how could they have made this scene a little bit better? Maybe they could have got a little bit more creative. Instead of kicking Jacob in the head, they could have used a blunt object, something that was laying around the carnival or near the trailers, caving in his head. The scene showing Mike losing his temper, letting his anger get the best of him, or something a little more creative than just a boot to the head. Maybe even like a head stomp and the skull crushing inwards or sounds or something. Just a little bit more disappointing. What are your thoughts on this? How would you make this better? Let me know in the comments down below. Gus, who is another one of the bullies, is taking a big old dump on the toilet when there's a knock on the bathroom stall. It's a blonde lady who we do get a glimpse of earlier in the movie.
What could Big Gus do for you?
Telling him to take her and do whatever he wants to her. And to tease him a little bit, she kind of reveals herself, showing her boobs. And boobs are great, especially in horror movies. As he's about to get down and dirty with this girl, we are bamboozled because this is just Gus fantasizing as he pulls on his meat scepter.
Fucker.
I think I would have preferred the other version of this instead of just toilet bowl wanking. He does hear a sound or a knock in the bathroom and he can't finish in time, so he goes and opens his door and sees a bowl of candy sitting right there on the bathroom sink. He walks up to it and starts to eat the candy corn inside this bowl. Now you tell me, if somebody left a bowl of candy corn, peanuts in the bathroom, would you eat it? How many people didn't wash their hands that day and have scrotum hand? He's enjoying this candy corn when he's startled by Jacob, standing in the entrance of the bathroom just staring at him, wearing a very freaky ass mask. And I gotta say, this mask It's really creepy. Jacob throws himself at Gus, grabs him by the throat, lifts him up against the wall, punches into his gut, and rips out his intestines, becoming kill number 2.
Fucker.
The bad part of this is you don't see Jacob pulling out the guts of Gus. You just see Gus against the wall being choked and blood kind of dribbling out of his mouth, letting you know that something is happening to him. At first glance, I thought he was just being choked to death. How could he have made this better? Well, it is low budget, so you do have to keep that in mind, but they could have just cut a hole in the shirt and show the intestines being pulled through that shirt, kind of mimicking how it would come out of his gut. Fake blood and all that. Just showing that little extra something for the viewer. Because we don't learn about his guts being torn out until later on in the movie when he is found by the sheriff. Bobby, one of the bullies, has his friends over, which are the other bullies, Mike and Carol and Steve. He walks them out and then he hears a sound inside his house. Kind of paranoid and scared, knowing what happened to Gus, he walks around the corner and sees a bowl of candy corn right in the middle of the hallway. And for some reason, his alarm bells don't go off saying, hey, that's a little weird, but continues walking towards it. When we get a bit of a jump scare as Jacob jumps out from around the corner and attacks Bobby, pushing him against the wall. Jacob's hands digging into the back of his neck. Bobby screaming in agony as blood begins to drip from his neck, and his eyes go lifeless as Jacob pulls out his spine. CGI blood sprays on the wall and Jacob stands there holding Bobby against the wall still, and in his hand is Bobby's spine. A pretty good kill, definitely a step up from number 2 and number 1. The CG blood looks a little okay, looks alright. Looks like one of those blood packs that you can buy in After Effects, but the spine looks real. And when you do see his back, you do see where the spine has been pulled out, showing the practical effects of the torn skin and the empty hollow void where the spine was. How could they have made this better? Well, we don't really see the spine being ripped out of Bobby. It's more of like a cutaway and then him, Jacob, holding the spine in his hands. Again, I'd probably show the spine maybe peeling off his back a little bit, just a couple frames to add that extra shock value to the person watching this movie. So again, it's just showing a little bit more instead of just cutting away so fast. But all in all, pretty good kill. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. The sheriff and deputy show up at Jacob's house looking for him, since Jacob is now the prime suspect in their investigation. Now his home is a real crap house. Garbage everywhere, spider webs. You can tell that this house isn't really taken care of. The sheriffs enter the house, they look through, searching for him, and they find a terrible smell coming from underneath his bed. They pull out whatever the thing is underneath the bed, and we discover that it's a corpse of Jacob's dead mother. We'll tack it on as an off-screen kill. We can assume this was done a while ago. How could they have done this better? Well, it's an off-screen kill, so maybe they could have used flashbacks, Jacob killing his mother, strangulation or something. We don't really find out how she died, but the practical effects of the corpse look really good, really disgusting. You can really smell it in this scene, like you're almost right there with the cops. And the reveal in the lead up was really well done. How would you have changed this kill? Would you do a flashback? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's jump to kill number 5 and number 6, back to back. Carol and Steve, their boyfriend and girlfriend, they're going pretty steady in this movie. Steve works at the movie theater, so him and Carol have this movie theater all to themselves. I guess that's the perks of working at a theater. Carol's gone to get freshened up and she comes back in a sexy little lingerie outfit. Red light illuminating the scene, giving an ominous feeling to it. Carol notices Steve walking toward her, like maybe he might have drank too much.
Just trying to set the mood?
But a shock of terror streaks across her face as she sees blood pooling out of Steve's ears. Another kill where we don't see what happened. His ear is messed up, that's all we know. So I can only assume head trauma or ear puncture to the brain. He drops to the ground, dying. Carol has tears streaming from her face. I gotta give it up to the actress. She did an excellent job in this movie. Like Jason Voorhees, Jacob just appears right behind Carol, and a chase ensues. She's screaming, running, yelling for help, and then she falls to the ground. Classic girl running and falling scene. Jacob catches up to her and fists her mouth. Well, shoves his hand in her mouth and grabs her tongue. Blood is pooling out her mouth, she's trying to scream, and Jacob grabs her tongue and rips it clean out. Blood sprays everywhere, and a ton of blood just kind of falls out of her mouth. Let's just say she's gonna have some issues eating. Some CG blood, which actually looks pretty good, and some practical blood, which actually looks pretty good as well. It's a really cool kill because it's a kill that you're not expecting. Because Carol, in the movie, she's not really a bully. She's just a person that was there at the wrong time. How could they have made this better? I don't think I would have changed anything in this scene. The blood looks great. They showed the kill happening. It was a solid kill, and you don't see many tongue rips anymore, which is sad. Very creative. I like it. What are your thoughts? Would you have changed anything in this scene? Let me know in the comments down below. The sheriff returns home to check on his son Mike, who's the head hooligan in this movie. And for some reason, if you're the son or daughter of the chief of police or sheriff, somewhere in the rule book that you just have to be a dick. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is, I guess. The sheriff is shocked to see Dr. Death sitting there in his living room. The sheriff is a little bit unhinged here because he thinks Dr. Death did something to his son Mike. But Mike is on his way to the carnival. And this is a really good interaction because this has also been leading up in this movie, been building between these two characters. Dr. Death tries to calm him down and talk to him.
Calm down, Sam. You don't need to get excited and hurt yourself.
But the sheriff is too erratic and isn't listening, so Dr. Death is a little bit frustrated with this. So he says goodbye to the sheriff. And Tony Todd appears behind the sheriff and smokes him right in the head with a pipe. And again, we get a kill that we really don't see as Dr. Death decapitates the sheriff on his own living room carpet. Makes his head into a jack-o'-lantern and then places it on the hood of the sheriff's car. And we do see his head as a jack-o'-lantern, eyes gouged out, mouth cut all the way open. How could they made this kill a little bit better? I do forgive this scene for not showing too much. Might be a little too much to actually see Dr. Death decapitate the sheriff and then carve his eyes out like a jack-o'-lantern. So that's forgiven. How could they have made this better? I really don't know. We do get to see the head as a jack-o'-lantern and it looks really good. And the reveal of his head on the hood of his own cop car is done really well too. So I found it pretty creative. How would you have changed it? Let me know down in the comments. The final kill in the movie has been building up to this. Mike, the head hooligan, comes stumbling out of the tent like he's a drunk, dazed from being knocked out earlier. Head beams appear up ahead of him and it's his dad, or so he thinks. Hooray, he thinks, until he sees his dad's decapitated head on the hood of his cop car. This sends Mike into a spiral, making him unaware of his surroundings and unaware of Jacob charging right towards him. Mike is punched right in the gut by Jacob, bringing him to his knees. A shock running through Mike's body as Jacob, who is now this monstrous thing just looming over him. Jacob then grabs his arms and with one hard tug rips off Mike's arms completely, and Mike falls onto his back. Mike, still alive, twitching on the ground, not sure how he's still alive, and starts to pull out his teeth one by one. So if you have a thing about like teeth, it's probably not a scene for you. Why does he do this? Well, he does this in order to make a necklace out of his teeth. It's a very solid kill. It really hits your dopamine because this has been leading up through the whole movie, and Mike is a piece of crap in this movie. It's just that much better. A great kill. But how could they have made this better? I don't think they could have. I think the build up and how Mike died, the great effect of his arms being ripped off, and then the cool effect of his teeth being pulled out of his skull really sealed it. But was this the best kill in the movie? Let's rank these kills from worst to best. Kill number 1 was definitely my least favorite. A kick to the head? Nah, it doesn't do it for me. I need a little bit more creativity in that kill. Kill number 4, the off-screen kill of Jacob's mother. It was a cool looking prop, really disgusting, so hats off to the prop department for doing that. If they showed a flashback maybe of Jacob killing, this might be a little bit higher, but because it was an off-screen kill, it's gonna rank low. Kill number 6, Steve's off-screen kill. Not sure what happened to him. I didn't like this character at all, and I really wanted to see him get messed up instead of just being killed off-screen. I wanted more of a payoff, right? Kill number 2, the bathroom kill. Gus was sleazy. If Jacob didn't kill him, well, that open bucket of candy probably would have killed him. Again, you just saw blood kind of pouring out of his mouth, which looked pretty good. You didn't really see him get disemboweled. I guess I kind of left it up to more of the imagination of what's happening. But I just wanted to see more. I wanted to see the guts being pulled out of him. That's what I wanted. But all in all, not a bad kill. Kill number 7, the human jack-o'-lantern. I was very pleased with this one, especially after seeing his head mounted on the hood of his own cop car. Eyes dug out, giant smile cut into his face. Pretty good. Pretty good. Kill number 3, Bobby has no spine. Great scene with a great spine rip. Jacob digging into Bobby's neck, blood dripping down, and pulling out his spine. Could have been a little bit better instead of just a cutaway. They could have showed the spine detaching from his body as he's pulling it out, but still a good kill. Now this is where I had troubles, because these last 2 kills were pretty great kills. So I'm gonna say coming in at number 2 is kill 8. Mike's arms ripped off and teeth pulled out. It was a cool kill, especially since the whole movie was leading up to this. But there's just something about ripping out somebody's tongue so violently that they choke on their own blood and die. It was a pretty intense sequence, especially after Carol's boyfriend died in the chase scene. And you didn't expect Carol to die because she wasn't a bully in this movie. So the tongue rip gets number 1. Do you agree with the rankings? How would you rank them? Let me know in the comments down below. That was the kill count / kill ranking of Candy Corn. Pretty cool movie. I definitely recommend checking it out. You can find it over on Tubi right now. Really solid B-rated horror movie for the Halloween season. If you enjoyed this and you want more videos like this, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next spooky video.